Hey YouTubers, Home Server Show and Surface Geeks this week. This will publish only on Home Server Show. We're doing a combo show that saves me a lot of broadcasting time and edits because I've got Meetup coming up. If you don't know about Meetup, we'll tell you a little bit about it. You probably already hate hearing about it because I don't know. I guess the percentage that listens that actually shows up is very, very, very small. You know, because not everybody can fly in, right? So I know sometimes it's a pain in the butt to hear about it, but we're not going to talk about it much. We're going to talk about the Toshiba Encore Mini, and I've got John Wiskowski here from Agnostic Tech Podcast, and Mr. Christopher Kinney. We're going to talk Meetup with Chris. We're also going to talk about kind of interested in getting a sneak preview on what Chris is doing with some QNAP hardware. So that is going to be really cool. So if you are coming to Meetup and you've downloaded and you're listening to this on the way, that's cool. That's cool. Actually, I've not started the audio portion yet. So
those were not my kids.
They didn't even hear that. Okay, so what... Actually, I have my lower third is working. So good evening, chat room.
Hello, Fins Up.
We got a pretty good Fins Up is in the house. Well, I hope I didn't get Darren all butthurt because I invited John. When we'll talk something. We'll invite Darren, and then we'll stiff John on. It's John's turn. He'll be out there ragging everything we say, John. All right. And we're going to have Jim jump in. Jim Collison. Soon. I don't even know if I should text him. Oh, Windows Weekly's out. I wonder if they had a good show.
I have to go listen to that.
Talked about my unboxing, right?
I think they led with it.
Surface Geeks found a new tablet. All right, here we go. I don't have any show notes, fellas. Don't throw me anything that needs a link. Stripped down version today.
Usually the chat room can code up the links pretty fast. So
we'll have the chat room do it on the forums post after it goes live. How about that? You guys do it for me. Okay. Happy birthday, Vinyl Freak. I got a burp. I had Buffalo Wild Wings. It's coming back up.
Tasty.
I hope my Christmas tree's okay in the background here, Dave.
Say what?
I said I hope my Christmas tree's okay in the background.
You have a Christmas tree? I didn't even look, dude. Nice. Nice tree.
I'm sitting in the basement. What do you expect?
You got relegated to the basement.
It's the only place in my house is quiet.
September 17. What am I? Shoot. SG. HSS. This is going to be 76 on Surface Geeks.
And 269 on...
Yeah, 269. Welcome to the Home Server Show Surface Geeks Special. It's the podcast prior to Meetup 2014. So we do a joint show. I've got some friends here joining me. Mr. Christopher Kinney. How you doing tonight, Chris?
Great, Dave. How are you doing?
Good to have you. Thank you very much. And John Wiskowski. Good evening, John.
Hello, sir. Thanks for having me back, Dave.
You bet. Ex-Surface Geek, now Agnostic Tech Podcast guy. But hey, this podcast recorded on September 17th, and it's officially going to be Home Server Show number 269 and Surface Geeks number 76. So I do a combo show, a party podcast, and we just blast it to both feeds. So if you're listening to it on one feed, go ahead and go to the other feed and download it, but you don't have to listen to it. Just make sure you download it twice. So everything stays nice and balanced. No, you don't have to. Just it gives me extra time to do meetup stuff, and we'll talk about meetup just a little bit. We're not going to inundate you with it. We've got a lot of things to cover tonight. We're going to be talking the Toshiba Encore Mini, which is a $120 tablet, and I've got John here to help me get this thing all figured out. And then we're going to be talking about the QNAP and virtualization and all kinds of cool stuff Christopher Kinney is bringing to the meetup, and just get a little bit of taste of that. So another cool thing is I'm officially retesting Surface Pro 3. I've got Surface Pro 3 doing a little bit of, we're going to do a little bit of camera work here. So if you're on, oh, that's going to be freaky because you can see the screen. So this is Surface Pro 3 in action here with the dock, and we're kind of testing it on the podcast tonight to see how it does. And it's doing some camera work for me. So I think this may be how I do things from now on. So I don't know. We're testing it. We're testing. All right. So follow Home Server Show at Home Server Show on Twitter. Surface Geeks at Surface Geeks. Head to each one of those URLs to get into the forums. HomeServerShow.com. Great forums there for home storage. Surface Geeks, of course, all the tablet stuff that you ever wanted. And don't forget, John Wiskowski's guesting tonight. He's got a brand new podcast, the Agnostic Tech Podcast. John, tell me, how's it going with that?
Great. We just recorded our 5th episode, I believe, already. Feels like we just started, but we talk a little bit about everything from our thoughts on the tech industry to all the latest and greatest announcements and events and products. And we talk about what we're buying, what we're not buying, what we think people are going to buy, and everything in between.
Awesome. I've enjoyed all the shows. I mean, I really have. It's really been a joy to listen to you.
Thank you. We appreciate it.
Yeah, so if you're kind of like me, which I use everything, you know, I've got Apple stuff, I've got Google stuff, and of course I've got tons of Windows stuff, and I like to hear about it all. I don't like to hear one slant on, you know, one particular company. I even like Amazon. And I hear, John, that they've got some new stuff, and I just bet you guys are going to be talking about that.
I'm sure we will.
Awesome.
It looks great.
Okay, so why don't we get into it? I don't even remember when this thing was introduced, and it's got grubby pop.
IFA or IFA.
It was. So if you look at on YouTube, you see a lot of YouTubes about people introducing this little tablet, you know, at the show at IFA in Berlin. But we have it in-house. We didn't have to wait. We didn't have to go to IFA Berlin. We just ordered the thing from Toshiba and got it straight from China. I don't know if anybody else is doing that, but I think, John, that we did have the first unboxing.
I believe so. I haven't seen it for sale anywhere in person, nor have I seen any other unboxings or reviews.
Yeah, so hopefully it'll get that video get some good traction. And I did a second video on kind of just general use and kind of going over the first big elephant in the room, and that's disk space. So it does have an eMMC
Storage.
Trying to call it, yeah, SATA SSD, but you know, some people get onto me for mixing all of those things all together.
But they shouldn't blame us, because a lot of times the spec sheet or the website will actually call it an SSD chip. So it's not.
But in fact, it is bus speed. It's a little faster. The problem is its size. I don't even know how they freaking did this, but it's a 16 gig size.
Yeah, it's really interesting to see, because 32 and 64 have been the standard in the Windows space as well as others. And in fact, I learned that ASUS actually bundles the recovery partition on a micro SD card that they give you for free, because they know you're going to want that space, and that's on a 32 gigabyte. So I'm assuming your recovery partition is actually on that drive, right? You have not yet moved that off. It must be. I
have not. I haven't really wanted to mess with it.
Sure.
a whole lot. I've been doing a little bit of testing because I thought I got myself in trouble with the Dell Venue Pro 8, because it was one of the first things I did. I did the recovery disk, and then I yanked the recovery partition. Well, not partition, but it came up and says, "Do you want to delete this?"
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, "Heck yeah, get rid of it."
Free space, yeah.
And then when I tried to recover it to sell it, it said, so you plug in the USB and it says, "Okay, where is it?" You say, "Okay, it's here in the USB." And it says, "Okay, plug me into power and I'll do it." You're like, "Okay, I'm in trouble." Because that's one thing that on the Dell Venue 8 Pro that you could not do.
I hope you can hot swap quickly, because I learned how to do that with multiple devices.
Yeah, there was, I don't even remember if I posted about it, but I came up with this scenario about how I did things and popped in and out, and I finally got it recovered. Well, I don't want to go through that pain with this if I decide to sell it, which I inevitably probably will. But
And I'll let you know, you may not need to use it just for sales either. I can tell you my story in a little bit, and I had to use it multiple times just to get the device working.
well, here's what I did just for a quick test. It's got a micro USB, so I've got the little cable. Actually, I bought the little cable to test to see if I could power it, but it didn't work. It didn't work on the Dell either. You got to have a little switch in line to make this thing go. So I hooked it up like this, and it does its little Windows thing. Boom, boom, boom. It says, okay, it sees the USB. I went to recovery, and I said recover, and used the USB option. It says, okay, I'm going to reboot. And it looked for it. Of course, it was empty. This thing is empty, but it did reboot. It didn't give me any problems. It had a full charge, so that worked. Now the other thing is, I did the recovery. So let me go into Manage PC here. I don't know if I can go ahead and switch over to this other camera. And
for a second, I forgot we actually had video, because for my other show, we don't do video anymore, so we make fun of ourselves for trying to show things. But this is great. We can actually...
if I can do, oh, did I hit it? I don't have a manage. Crap. Oh, I did it. So what I'm doing is I'm going into computer management. It's probably very hard to see on YouTube, but because of the flashing. But I'm looking at see when it comes up with, it has trouble doing white balance. Crap. Yes, if you do it off angle, it works. But what I'm doing is I'm looking at the disks on the machine, and what it comes with is disk 0 is 14.44 gigabytes. So that's your 16 gig drive formatted down, just like a quarter pounder. It's never a quarter pounder after they cook it, right? So 14.44 usable. And just a side note, when I got this thing, John, it had 5.2 usable.
Yep, I think that's what you said in your first video.
Yeah, so yikes. So what it comes here, I'm looking at my C drive is a 10.77 gigabyte NTFS partition. And then over here there is a 3.56 gigabytes recovery partition.
Yep.
Now if I look at disk 0 recovery partition under capacity, it says 3.56 gigabytes. Free space 3.56 gigabytes. So it looks like it's on there, but it looks like it's reporting empty, or it's...
Yeah, I just don't think it can report on that partition very well. It's not a true partition. I'm going to get in trouble with the chat room and our fans, because they know exactly what that's called. It's not a logical drive, maybe, or something like that. But
right, it's not... I mean, I can't right-click it and do anything in this partition.
But of course, you could
here.
use the utility, the recovery tool, to create the disk, and then at the end it asks you if you like to...
I did, but it did not ask me. I'm going to do it again.
Interesting. That'll be the first time that I've ever heard that happen.
Exactly. I thought, well, I'm going to come to that decision, and what's it going to do for me? Of course, the white balance on this camera. It started out good, but
It's okay. But I will say that for that tablet, which to me is a 7-inch tablet and it has certain use cases, I think it's not terrible. You know what I mean? Like you can install most of the things you're going to do should hopefully be in the cloud. And of course, we can talk more about Office and the desktop. But even there, right? You can obviously fit Office on there just barely. But most of your stuff you're going to store in the cloud, hopefully, or on your SD card. So I think depending on your use case, and for the use cases, I think a 7-inch tablet is going to fit. For the money, how many apps are you going to put on there? Will you put 3 gigs worth of apps? I don't know.
probably not. I want to put a couple of apps on here. So far, I have exactly 3.0 gigabytes free. I got 3 gigs free. I went ahead and moved my document libraries over to the SD card. I put in a 64 gig SD card, and I have yet to take advantage of doing anything over there because you'd have to put pictures on it or videos or something like that. So, and Windows 8.1, you can't move an application over there like you can on a phone, where it says, "Hey, you have an SD card. Would you like to use the SD card to store your pictures or your podcast or move an app over there?" That doesn't exist.
Well, you can store all those things except for apps.
Yes.
You can set up your default libraries for pictures, movies, music, and all that to the SD card.
I did that. So I got that. So if anything uses those directories, it will go there.
Correct.
But nothing has. I mean, I haven't done. Apps. I put my Radar app on here, and I put the Seaton Media Center app on here, and that's the biggest thing. Is what I want to do is my goal was to put this in the living room and basically have it like as a media tablet, almost like a remote control, honestly. Because if you're a Media Center user, there's an app called, did I put that on here? I thought I did. Yeah, it's called My Media Center. And there's another app that goes on your actual Media Center, your HTPC, and this finds it. You can see here that it's found my TiVo Center. I don't want to do it because I don't know, she might be watching something downstairs. But you can look at the guide and you can see what recordings you have. You can set up your recordings. You can switch the channel. You can do all kinds of cool stuff, and that it's almost like a remote control. You don't have to do anything in the actual television part of that. And so things like that. And I want to also test out my Tableau TV. I have the Tableau TV app. It's not completely set up for. Let's go to my space dot Tableau. I think it's. I don't remember exactly the my.tableau.tv, and I've screwed that up. I didn't like it. But if you're using Chrome or Safari, it will stream the TV interface straight to you, stream live TV to you. So my.tableau.tv. It thinks I'm searching. This page cannot be displayed. Well, why not? Oh, what the hell with Tableau?
Next.
Does a Tableau is it like a web server within your network at home there?
Yes.
Is that what you're trying? Okay.
Yes, it does. It should be responding. I don't know why. One of the things is this thing's 7 inches. I mean, do you want to do some? Let's do some size comparisons. I have the this is the iPad Mini. It's first gen, and I went ahead and put iOS 8 on it today. But and just looking at the iPad Mini screen is just like a breath of fresh air. It is like looking at an IPS monitor compared to it
And
just
and that's the worst screen that Apple ships right now. The
exactly.
non iPad mini.
And looking at it, it's awesome. But that tells you, this is not the greatest screen in the world. But just for size purposes, it is smaller. Not by much.
Even with those bezels.
Yeah. Even with the monster bezels, it's
What
not
was
that much smaller.
what was the cost delta?
Of which one?
So the iPad Mini versus that Toshiba.
So what did I pay for this? I think I paid $329 for this. It's the low end.
Yeah, it's
Uh,
currently on sale for $299 new.
yeah, $299. This bad boy, which is also thicker. Let's go ahead and give you that profile. See if that camera will focus.
Yeah.
It's a lot thicker. $120 plus tax. Free shipping from China. Which is another amazing feat, I thought. I was telling someone on the one of the YouTube videos. I ordered this. They
The
shipped
day
it
it was
like on a
announced.
Friday.
Yeah.
They sent me the FedEx and said, "Hey, we shipped your tablet from Shenzhen, China," and it showed up. I think on a Wednesday.
Yep.
Wait, when did this? I
No,
can't remember when it showed
that's
up.
about
It was
right because you're actually
unreal. Or
close.
Wednesday
Yeah.
to Monday. It was
Yep.
fast.
Yeah, it's great because it's from China. It's all air, right? So it's from China to Alaska. It passes through customs and then it comes into either Kentucky or what's the other hub? I always forget which is UPS and which is FedEx. But then once it's there,
FedEx is in Memphis.
yeah, and yeah, you're right. That's in Memphis. So then from there, it's just another flight to your local center and out to your door.
Right. The other thing about this tablet, ooh, you got a nice little mirror effect there, is look at the bottom here. You've got the logo, but there is no button. There is no button. No
Well,
Windows button, no home button, nothing of the sort. So doing a screenshot, you got to really get crafty. I learned how to do a screenshot with the shares charm.
yeah, you have to use the share charm, and it's not always a great experience, and it's not always available. I think it's gotten better, but I remember with Windows 8, I'm kind of on the fence on whether I like no buttons. So I don't know if you want me to start talking about, but I'll just say I use the Toshiba Encore 2.8. So the larger version of that tablet, it's around 179 to 199 wherever you buy it. It did come with a button at the top of the tablet, kind of like the Dell has. It did not have a capacitive button. It was a hard button. But a lot of the tablets that are coming out, the new 149 range tablets that I'll talk some more about, they do not have a button at all. And of course, if you get used to it, you just swipe in to the Charms menu and the start button's there. And I found a lot of these capacitive buttons to not work very well. So I don't know if it's better to not have it. You're either going to hit it accidentally or you're going to have to tap it 3 times when you want it to work. So I think they kind of just gave up and said, hey, we don't need to have it, so let's just not even bother.
Yeah, if you look at this camera angle, I mean, the way you hold this 7-inch thing is I usually hold it in landscape mode, and to have a button on here would just be disastrous.
Would drive you crazy.
Yeah, it would absolutely drive you crazy. So,
unless you invested tons of time and money on the button and the software to do,
rejection.
some kind of rejection.
Yeah.
And as we know, it's never worked well. Maybe on the higher end devices like for Microsoft, but there were even people not happy with the placement of the start button on the Surface Pro 3. So I think they're smart to just say forget it.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't even notice that first off. I didn't, and I was like, got into it. I was like, hey, where's the home button? I need to do a screenshot. But
I find you can move really fast once you're used to it not being there, and you're just all touch. You're just constantly swiping in from the left for either your most recent app list or the last app, and you're swiping it from the right to do actions. It's not bad, and then swiping up and down for the in-app menus.
yeah, I did. I don't miss it. I mean, I use it if I have it. I use it, but otherwise, I'm in the desktop a little bit for digging around. But otherwise, I haven't I haven't really missed it. I guarantee you I don't miss like hitting it. I would probably have thrown it by now if it had a start button on it.
Definitely. So
Um,
yeah, so there you have one of these tablets, and there are a lot more. And Toshiba added this to their lineup, and I tried the Encore 2.8. Again, it's the 8-inch version, 1028 by 800 screen. Sorry, 1280 by 800 resolution screen. Kind of your standard 8-inch tablet. Um, Much thinner than yours. Even the box was thinner. It comes with the same OS, same 1 GB of RAM, but it did come with 32 GB of storage. You could get a model with 2 GB of RAM and 64 gigs of storage for about $80 more, which is what I actually went with when I was playing with it. So maybe it was just me or the one that I got, but it froze 4 times while I was setting it up. I had to set it up multiple times, and eventually I had to do a clean wipe. That did not work, so I actually had to delete all the partitions and recover from the recovery partition clean. And luckily, Toshiba gives you a nice utility to wipe the partitions. Otherwise, you have to go into the command line, do the disk part, select partition, and all that fun stuff, which some of you may be familiar with.
Mm-hmm.
Once I did that, the tablet ran much better, but the screen had some issues. So these tablets do not have a ambient sensor for your backlight. So you have to constantly adjust. And I was okay with that. My problem was apparently these lower end chips do not have the ability to sync with the display. And so it was almost like flickering, but it would come and go. So like if you were scrolling, right after you're done scrolling, it would start flickering for a little bit and then it would stop. And it was just little things like that started to get annoying. After I had the software issues and the hang-ups, I'm like, especially because I paid for the upgraded model for the 2 GB of RAM, which I didn't notice a substantial difference. You would think, well, I have to have 2 gigs. I can't work with one. Believe it or not, I don't know what they did to this version of Windows 8.1 with Bing, but they must have done something because it actually runs. I mean, you could use it, and it's
Yeah.
1 GB of RAM, so it's really impressive. But I think all these tablets are going to have compromises, and I think you just need to find the right price point ratio, and I think it's going to be the 149 price point, and Acer and Asus have 2 models coming out. My tablet did not have an oleophobic coating. I don't know about yours, but of course,
No,
come,
it's grubby as hell right
and I
now.
mean, like, you can't even
Looks
clean
like I
it.
just wipe my face with it,
Right.
every couple of minutes.
And you can't clean it. I'm used to just taking my cloths that I have all over the place that I think you have and just wiping the phone down or using your pocket or your pants or your shirt. You
I have
cannot.
these.
Yeah, you
I have these
cannot
little-
clean these tablets with those.
I know.
You're
Now
scrubbing,
this thing's
right?
an oily mess.
Right. So an oleophobic coating makes a huge difference. So like Asus is going to include that on their tablets. That's something Asus
Okay.
kind of prides themselves on. Acer, I don't know yet. But the Android version of the Acer seems to work well for people. But so I think you're going to find that I think that $100 price point is a little low, and I think 180. Once you get to that price point, you can get a really nice 8-inch tablet. Some of last year's models or earlier models from this year. So hopefully at this 149 price point, we'll find just the right mix of quality hardware and software performance. But they're definitely great. I definitely want a small tablet, opposite from you, mainly for work emails, where like I don't love the Exchange clients on Android and obviously not iOS because I don't use it anymore. But I do love using the Mail app on Windows 8, right? And the calendar and all that kind of stuff. So it would be great to have a thin tablet for around the office, on the couch, like you said, when I want to do my work emails and want a better experience than an Android tablet or phone is going to provide me.
Well, here's what's cool. Even my live tile for the seat in my media center is it's rotating. My recent recordings, my upcoming recordings. So this is kind of what I had in mind for it, is to use it as a HTPC companion.
Yep.
And so I pulled off a lot of apps like the reading list, little things like that I'm just trying to get some space on here. I pulled everything off, and I could probably do more. I don't need OneNote. I probably don't need OneDrive, but I'm leaving that on there for now. But Netflix.
I think you're going. I don't know how much space that's going to save you.
Yeah,
you're
right.
Huge, so
and it was doing it in bulk, and that was the whole idea of it. But I think the screen for what I have planned for it, I think it would be fine. I don't need, an IPS screen. I don't need this giant uh, tablet. I just need something. It would be a quick hit tablet. And honestly, there's a table with a big bowl in it, in my uh, living room, my great room, where we put the remote controls. And that's where this would go. We just toss it in there. When it needs charge, I'll go charge it. So we'll see if that works out. I mean, if that works out. I can already, I've only had it a couple of days, but I can already, like, probably not recommend this as a day-to-day a worker bee tablet. I just don't. I don't know what niche this fills. I really don't. 8 inches. It was the Dell Venue Pro 8. I almost understood, but even I had trouble with it too.
Yeah, like it's nice to be able to run Windows apps, right? So even for me, I would say, well, I want to be able to use Cisco AnyConnect and connect to my workplace and use RDP. I don't see that going well with that screen resolution, right? My work PC is 1080p, and now I got to scale it down to 600p. That's not going to be a great experience. I don't know if you've launched Office yet. You probably didn't want to take the disk space. Can't be that great of an experience. It can't be much worse than the other 8-inch tablets, but you're going to want to stay in the modern UI. So what, you're going to read Kindle, maybe you'll read your OneNote or your Evernotes or take some quick notes. You might look at some pictures, but probably not because of the screen quality. I mean, you might.
Oh, I took pictures with it, John. It was horrendous.
Oh, I'm not talking about the camera. I mean, let's say you had a family vacation, you want to quickly check your kids' pictures. I mean, you might flip them, but I mean, I almost want to say you want to read on it, but even that experience, depending how picky you are with the quality of text, right?
Quick maybe like news.google.com or something. I don't know. Maybe something like that, just for text-based news. I would be okay with. I also put on the Amazon Cloud Player, which
is that for music? I'm trying to.
Yeah, that's for music and playlists because I have.
Is that a modern UI app?
No.
Desktop, right? Okay. Didn't think so. Okay. Are you using Chrome or is that through IE or what's that?
I have not put on Chrome.
Okay. Yeah, I was too scared to as well. Yeah.
Really scared to put on Chrome on this thing.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
No.
Yeah, Amazon Music will load to the desktop, and I also have a program called. It's from Rogue Amoeba. I think it's called Airfoil.
Yes, sir.
That allows you to push from a Windows device or Windows tablet, PC, to, going to get a lot of people hate this, but Airport Extremes, which or an Airport Express, which I have 2 Airport Expresses in my house that hook into my house-wide audio system.
Yep.
So I do this all the time on the iPad. Is I'll take a playlist, push it to the one for my house or the one for my pool. If we're outside, I send it to the pool, and
or both.
Boom, it just comes out. Yeah, and we jam. So I was thinking about trying to have this, like, that would be its all-time duty.
That's a great thing for that, though, if that works well for you. So what are you using to play back audio? Just any app you want, and it takes control of it, so Pandora, Xbox Music?
Absolutely. You could use anything. And I tend to use Spotify at Christmas a lot, where you can pick some of the more popular Christmas playlists, and it's just free. And you just push it to your AirPlay device, and it goes all over the house. So no matter where I'm at, that music is playing, and I'm not purchasing music, and I'm not storing music. So all this stuff on Amazon is out in their cloud. So it comes down over the internet, over Wi-Fi to the little device, and then bam, right out to AirPlay, all through the house. So that's the second thing that I want for that.
Dave, one thing I'll add here is I still use, or my daughter uses, one of the old fire sale HP touchpads for watching YouTube videos. So I'm kind of curious, that's all she does on that tablet, or all we use it for, because it's not good for much else. So it seems like that Toshiba device may be something similar as far as if you had a limited use, kind of like her in the YouTube videos. She likes to watch the Pokemon
Hmm.
unboxing videos and stuff.
Oh, kids love that, where they have the eggs that they open and it has all the little toys and all, yeah. Um, um, I would say that would be a great way to use it, with the knowledge that you also get, the Microsoft Store that's behind you, and you at least can download a couple of little games that would probably run just fine on this.
Yeah, the only thing that slowed mine down, again, same processor, same RAM, was trying to decode in MKV video.
Yeah.
So I now Plex worked okay, not great,
Mhm.
but like a locally stored file or streaming the file and using the VLC player, the Modern UI app wouldn't work at all. That thing's still in beta. It's not that great. And I installed VLC on the desktop, on the few desktop apps I installed, and it just wasn't happy with me. It was like, please, please do something else. Basically, it told me to do. So, but again, that's and it was a 1080p video, to be fair, and there's no reason I should be trying to do that. But some people may, they have a nice library at home and they want to watch a couple of those things. So, it's something to be aware of, that this generation Atom. That are in these, just be aware that I think it'll run your apps, it'll do YouTube, it'll do streaming, but when you get to that 1080p playback, depending what it is encoded as, you might have some struggles.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, so, I mean, in a nutshell, that's kind of what I don't have a whole lot of high expectations for this. I'm not using it as my, it's not a desktop. There's the Seaton app. So you can see my HTPC is labeled TiVo Center. So you can see TiVo Center, and it's honestly, it's a fantastic experience. If you use Windows Media Center, you must, I mean, absolutely get this app by Seaton. It's $5, and then they usually give you some discount. They have discounts all the time. So I can go into recorded TV, and I have 145. I haven't put this. Well, you can see. Look, the only thing I've got lately, and it's going to really start ramping up, is Dancing with the Stars and Crossbones. I haven't watched a single episode of this Crossbones, but we're recording them. And then it goes back to way long ago, where I have all kinds of recorded TV. So,
Will that app allow you to sync locally? You won't want to do that on that tablet, but if you wanted to.
uh, no, what you would do is you would say play, and it would start it on the HTPC.
Yeah, I was just curious if you wanted to take it. Like with Plex, you can sync locally, and it'll store the
I'm
files
pretty
locally
sure
for when you're traveling.
they're not up to that yet.
Okay, I was just curious.
But you can also float through the guide, do
Right.
things like that. It's really neat. I really enjoy the app.
But yeah, I think my advice is for these things, spend the 120 to 150, and if you start going above that, that's when your expectations, even if they're low, right? You're gonna say, oh, you start getting into that $200 range, you could probably find something better. But for that, 120, maybe that'll be 100 for the holidays. You know,
Yeah,
uh,
it's going to be amazing
yeah.
what the holidays bring, and Black Friday in the Windows tablet space. Yeah, definitely you have to curb your expectations. But I do think, just like I said with the Dell Venue Pro 8, everybody has that one thing that they wish that they could run on a tablet. And it's an app. It's a Windows 8 app. It's an executable. They ran it on Windows 7, whatever. It doesn't run on RT. And they want it, on this. So that's what these things bring. They bring that ability. I could load up Audacity and I could mix up a podcast on this thing. Do I want to? No. But could I? Yes, very slowly. But I've done that before on a netbook. So, but that was an upgraded netbook. This is 1 gig of RAM.
Right.
So, And you can absolutely do it. Should you? Probably not, but you can do it. I have 3 gig free. I have to really figure out how I want to spend my 3 gigabytes free. It's fairly hefty. I grams. I don't know. I'd have to look it up. It's got some heft to it. It gets a little warm in your hands when you run it pretty hard, but otherwise it's been working fine. I haven't had any glitches. I haven't had any lockups, any reboots.
Right.
It's got its moments where you hit something and you fire it up and you're like, okay, there it is. You know, it's an Atom processor. It's not a speed demon, but then again, I mean, it's running fine. I mean, it's running, hiccup free, I would say.
Yeah, and I actually picked up a cheap version of that for Android. So it's an ASUS tablet, same processor, same RAM, and the experience is actually a little bit better with Windows 8.1. And you would say, well, all that overhead, how could that be? But I always felt, and I've learned this with the RT versus x86 debate, Windows is fairly well optimized for Intel processors, for x86 processors, and it works. And I still don't know if Microsoft will admit it, but I swear they did something to the version with Bing to make it run even better on these lower end processors and RAM. So it certainly is capable. These Windows 8.1 low-end devices are very, very capable for the hardware that they're running on, and I think they're actually a little bit stronger than the Android versions at that same price point.
Have you had it long enough to know battery life?
No, not at all.
Yeah.
Not at all. I use it a little bit and then I'll plug it in and go to bed. Use it a little bit, plug it in and go to bed. Technically, I think I got this on Monday. I'm trying to figure out my time frame on this. When I explained the shipping, I was completely backwards. So I got it on Monday. I did or Tuesday. I don't know. This meetup is killing.
It took about 3 days for you to get it. Okay, can we just leave it at that?
I've got 2 videos on it. Just go watch. Someone in the video said when I got it, right? It was probably me. I just don't remember. So speaking of meetup, we're gonna move into kind of storage central here, John. So just jump in when you need to. So Chris, you've got a QNAP, and we've been doing QNAP for quite some time, but we've never really gone all in on it, And you've started doing that with this new box. So tell me what the box is, and kind of just introduce me, because man, I tell you, I know nothing about the QNAP.
Well, so last year we had 2-bay NAS from QNAP, a TS269L, that I had done some postings on, introduced the readers of the blog to the interface, the QTS 4.0 software that is used in the boxes, and just tried to get people familiar with the QNAP hardware and the software. And then this year, QNAP sent me a 4-bay NAS, and it's got a newer operating system. It's one thing about QNAP, I think it's very similar to Synology's strategy as well, is every single one of their NAS runs the exact same operating system. So it doesn't matter which piece of hardware you get from them, it's the same common interface. It looks the same to you when you go in to the desktop and work with the applications and configure users and volumes and so forth. So they sent me a 4-bay NAS this time. It's a TS451. It's a brand new product that came out right around July of this year. And there's a 2-bay version, a 4-bay, and an 8-bay version. And they're expandable. There's some expansion boxes that are available for them as well that plug into the USB 3 port. But there's some neat things about this. So this particular model of NAS has an HDMI port on the back of it. And they target it to, you can use it as a NAS or you can use it as a small home theater PC as well. It's running a version of XBMC. And you can plug it directly into your TV, locate the NAS in your living room, and you can pull video just like using XBMC and some other appliance. You can pull video straight to your TV from it. Or you can do some of the other things that I've been trying lately, which you can set up an app from Plex, and you can run a Plex server. And then if you have a Samsung TV like I do, you can go in and run the Plex app on your Samsung TV, and you can pull the video right off of the NAS. And I've done both. I ran XBMC in my office on a small TV with 1080p video running, and then I went in and ran a 1080p video through Plex to my Samsung TV in the living room, and it worked great. It didn't have any issues at all. And then the other piece of it that's really kind of neat, I've just started playing with, I sent out a couple posts today about it on Twitter, is they have a virtualization application that you can add in, and that's not available on every NAS that they sell. This one has an Intel processor in it that's got the ability to do virtualization. And so I installed that, and I loaded up a Windows 7 environment as one of the virtual machines that I created. I did start setting up Windows Home Server 2011 as the second one, but it was taking too long, and I get impatient. So I've jumped around and done a couple of Linux distributions as well. It does say that it's only limited to around 2 virtual machines at a time, mainly because it's only got 4 gig of RAM in it, which
Right.
QNAP expanded that for me before they sent it, but
Okay.
but yeah, you can run a couple VMs in the box at the same time. So it's unbelievable how flexible this box is, and I'm going to be excited to show it at the meetup to people so they can be introduced to it and see what it's capable of.
Yeah, I'm gonna be right there in the demo, Chris, because I mean I've briefly seen it, just briefly, but I've never like gotten down into it. So I'm pretty interested in seeing what it can do, and that's pretty crazy. It's got a NAS box with an HDMI port on the back.
Yeah, so the 2-bay version I had before also had the HDMI port. It had the ability to do XBMC. This one I was playing around with it. You can actually run a Chrome browser in that environment throughout that HDMI port. So I have a mouse plugged into a USB port on it, and I can sit there and move around the browser. I have an iPhone that I use as my phone, and I loaded up the QMote application on it from QNAP, and I can actually control the cursor on the screen just like I'm using a mouse, but it's using the touch screen of my phone to do that.
Nice.
And it worked awesome. I don't even notice any lag.
Huh.
And then to really push things in the Chrome browser, I launched Plex, and I was able to play a video from Plex out the HDMI port on the NAS while the NAS was acting as the Plex server. So I was both serving and consuming with the same NAS.
Okay.
And it was able to do it.
Huh. Wow, that's pretty interesting.
Yeah, it's I'm surprised at the capabilities that this box has. Now I have 3 drives in it right now doing a RAID 5. I've got room for one more drive I can stick in there as well, and like I said, it can be expanded further, but I had to buy a couple drives. I made a post recently about what happened with my drives. I had a couple of Western Digital 3 terabyte red drives that I had been using for evaluation purposes on the previous box, and apparently when I sent that box back, I must have left one of my drives in it. I'm not sure. I'm not sure how I did that, but I think QNAP got a free 3 terabyte drive from me.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So
that reminds me of Jim Collison giving away a couple of hard drives at was it last year's meetup, Jim?
Yeah, I think a 1 or 2 terabyte drive went out in that Drobo.
Hey, you know what?
Whoops.
The guy who won that, Kyle, he's still a listener. He's an avid participant. It was a very good investment.
It was a good investment. He hangs out in the community, so it was all good.
All right, welcome, Jim. We've gone over tablets, and now we're up to Chris. He is going over this QNAP that we're going to get to see.
Awesome.
In 2 freaking days.
Awesome. Yeah, I can't wait.
Yeah.
So, Chris, sorry to interrupt. I'll let you finish.
No, that's fine. So, anyways, I had to buy a couple new red drives from Amazon, and the thing is, I wrote in the posting that you can read on the blog is that I put in a drive I had used in the old NAS, the old QNAP device. The new QNAP server recognized that, and it actually went into a recovery process. It migrated that drive right in, so all my settings, all my users were set up. I didn't have to configure anything. It showed me that the RAID was degraded because I only had one of the two drives. I plugged in a second drive, and the whole thing was taken care of. So that was pretty awesome.
That is pretty neat how that works. That is pretty cool. Wow. So that's something I really wasn't even thinking about is being a participant as well. Usually I sit in the back and I sit there and go, oh, thank God it's running. People are smiling, eating, having fun, and but I can't wait to be like a participant. So this is going to be cool.
Yeah, the big thing with this box is I know a lot of people are interested in taking a look at it. We talk a lot on the show about Synology boxes and stuff, so people really want to see what else is out there, and this is a great opportunity to do it at the meetup. Hopefully we have enough time so everybody gets a chance to click around and try some things out, and maybe go out and look at what apps are available in the App Store that QNAP has, so they can get a taste of really what it's capable of. It's hard for me to guess what people want to see. I kind of go to the things I'm interested in, but there's a lot out there, and it's hard to write about all of it on the blog. So.
Yeah, and we will have time. This year's meetup is, if we want to go ahead and transition into that, I have built in a lot of open time. So I know you guys have heard about this thing called Meetup, but hang around. Please listen. It's something that I started back when I lived in Wisconsin, and Jim, I don't even remember how it really got started, but
Well,
I don't
I
know
think
if a
it was a
reader
St.
or
Louis.
listener said, "Hey, you guys should have a meetup."
Yeah, I think we were getting together in St. Louis. We were converging in St. Louis for some reason, and Chris was there, and somebody I think said, "Oh, you might as well just do a meetup while you're all together." And so we that first year we just kind of said, "Well, this is the meetup." We kind of jokingly said that because there was
Right.
3 of us there. One guy showed
Right.
up. And
guy showed
so
up.
that just started the next year. It was like, well, let's put one together. We did that up in Wisconsin, and each year I've driven out. It's been crazy. We just kind of keep doing it.
Yeah, it was neat, and little did we know the traditions we would start by that first meetup that have continued today. So this is meetup 4, one in Wisconsin. This is the 3rd in Indianapolis. We're in the same spot. That it kind of keeps growing. It not in size, but in different ways. Like last year was as big as I ever could have imagined the meetup getting. It was huge. People were packed in. We had session after session after session. And this year, I really scaled it back and decided the wandering around, the meandering time is kind of what I like the best. And I get the feeling that after watching all the folks last year, that's what they like the best. So I've got my typical stuff where I open the show with a little speech. We're going to have Microserver University from a couple of Microserver pros, and then we're going to get into this year, guys. We have a lot of home automation, so I hope you like home automation. If you don't, you're going to, because you're going to get a little bit of it. And there's lots of side sessions. So side sessions is going to enable everybody to kind of wander around, get a cup of coffee, and check out the gear and get a little presentation on it. And actually get a lot of hands-on. So I've got some cool hands-on stuff that I've got planned for you guys. And some of it I'm keeping a secret. I got a little secret. So I got a whole lot of secrets, actually, that I'm going to spring on you guys. But
Still tickets available, right?
Oh, yeah.
Still tickets available. I put in a post today. I said, you know what? I'm just going to keep it open. Maybe some guy local to the area is decides, hey, I want to come. So please, by all means, if you're listening to this on Thursday or Friday, get your butt to Indianapolis, 8 a.m. Saturday morning. You can still come.
Yeah, we've got some guys coming from Maryland, so it's. I wish it was Christian and not John. Sorry, John, if you listen to this. Not that that's bad that you're coming, but we Christian just couldn't make it, but we do have some guys driving from Maryland. Dave, I've got so LastPass was kind enough to send us some stickers, so you can't do a meetup without a few stickers. So I haven't seen these stickers yet from LastPass, so it's cool. And then they also sent me some T-shirts. Can't get away. I don't have one for everybody, but we'll raffle these off in some way, give it away. And then while you're talking, MediaFire sent me some stuff to give away as well, so I'll be bringing that.
Very nice.
Bringing that along. Yeah, I asked those guys if they'd ship us some stuff, and so I'll be bringing it with me.
Awesome.
Don't show everything. There'll be a mad rush for tickets.
Yeah, because those LastPass T-shirts are so hard.
Man, I'm jealous.
That's worth the flight right there, right, John? I've got some good stuff for you guys too. I do. I've a couple of you know most of it, but a lot. I got some surprises for you.
Well, I've noticed you have more clear space behind you, Dave. So I'm trying to picture what's missing. If there was anything that was there, that might be packed up for the meetup.
Yeah. No. If you could actually see over there by my door, there is box after box after box and bags, and it gets hectic to pull a show off like this. And I'm still like struggling with badges and signage and stuff like that. But I've got a lot of appointments tomorrow to get some of this stuff done. So the next 2 days really hectic for me. I mean, I'm
bringing the badge holders, right?
Yes, you got the badge holders.
You know what's missing? You know what's missing in the back is the EX470 that was sitting back there. It's ready to go to the buy and sell table.
Yeah.
Hey,
well, I have two. There's one still sitting back here. I have two.
Look at these. That's pretty nice, huh? Some MediaFire T-shirts.
That is nice.
From our friends at MediaFire.
I think I would look good podcasting in that. I like podcasting in blue. So
yeah, they sent me all kinds of good stuff. Oh, we got some MediaFire playing cards. We can play some.
Ooh.
Play some poker there while we're
nice. Break the bank.
Well, I know that Jim and I talked once about minimizing the giveaway time.
We just got to get that done. Just poof.
But here's the thing. I was flipping through the pictures, and you know what? I decided that's something that I enjoy. That I like it. I like closing the show with the giveaway time. There's a picture of me, Jim. I put it on some of the signage. I've got the big HP Media Smart, the HP microserver box on my shoulder, and it's just the coolest picture ever. And I thought, you know what? I really like that. I really like throwing those IO-safe oven mitts at everybody.
Yeah. Well, we'll have plenty of those. I've got a bunch of those gadgets to give away, both from LastPass and MediaFire, and
so that's what we're gonna do.
Yeah, it'll be fun. All right, so all out. We'll do the drawings at the end, and it'll be great.
If you're coming to the meetup, you're leaving with something, and it could be a brand new Synology. It could be a Thecus. You never know. There's gonna be I say the Synology box, but there's gonna be more than one, probably more than two NAS devices to give away. So I'm just throwing that out there. If you haven't registered, we've made a lot of people happy over the years on Meetup. So now the other cool thing is Microsoft Store is waiting on us. So when I'm just going to let the cat out of this bag. Get ready to get your wallet out, boys, because when we walk in, you're going to have a coupon. An instant coupon when you walk in. It's going to be just for you. It's going to be just for that store visit right then and there. So get ready to buy some stuff. I've already got 2 purchases planned out, Jim. 2 already planned out.
Nice.
I want one of the new 635 phones.
Yeah.
I want a new phone.
Good call.
And I think I'm going to buy an Insteon kit.
Wow.
So, yeah, if you got to be coming. John, it's not too late, man. It's not too late.
You can get tickets, John. Get up here, man.
John, I told you I'll put you up in Surface Geeks headquarters. There's a guest room. You can't see it, but there's a guest room right here. And
That's not a bad room either. That's I think Rich O'Neill
No,
stayed there.
I was planning to go, not realizing that it was my mom's 70th birthday
Oh,
that weekend.
you won't remember.
Yeah. Oh. Next,
oh,
I'll
John.
be there.
All right.
Yeah, that's
be good to see you there, man. It'd be good.
yeah,
to
it
see
would
you
be
there.
good. It would be good to see you guys there. So, I've got a great schedule planned. Like I said, a lot of open time for you to walk around and take a look at things. I've got a list of the open sessions, like Synology, IOSafe. I've got a surprise from IOSafe for you guys. The Lowe's Iris home automation system. Guys, the DMZ guys from the DMZ podcast and the Home On podcast are going to be there doing a presentation. Gave them some official time. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. We're going to have a good time.
Yeah, and the numbers are down, which from our standpoint, you'd think, oh, we're not getting as many. I think it'll actually fit the room nicely. I mean, if more people come, that's great, but that room, I mean, the number we've got right now, or even a few more, I think will be perfect for the size room we have. And
And it was by design.
Yeah.
So don't be too hard on yourself.
No.
It was by design.
Yeah.
Now here's something that happened last year, and I'll tell you, I think I've said this before. The reason it's down is last year I made this event public, trying to reach more people, trying to do the right thing. So if you went to Eventbrite and you were in Indianapolis, what you saw was a free show, a free breakfast, and a free lunch, and a possibility of walking away with some free swag just by spending a tech afternoon with us. So, I mean, who wouldn't do that if you had a Saturday off? That's a heck of a deal.
Yeah.
So
no, for sure.
This year's private. If you follow Home Server Show, you know where it's at. You know when it's going to happen. And that is the crowd that's showing up this time. Now, granted, some of those folks may be local because we've got some local listeners. But you had to, you got to know me to get in, right? You had to be a follower, be a listener.
Yeah.
So it's a lot different than last year.
We've pimped it. I mean, it's been on every single post at theaverageguy.tv too. So folks have been able to come in that way. So we'll have a few. No, it's good. And you know what, Dave? I didn't have anybody this year take us up on an airport offer. So if you're coming in, everybody looks like they're taken care of. So I don't have to worry
People are getting it down, aren't they, Jim?
Yeah, they are. I put that out early. I had that out, I don't know, a week or two ago. And I just didn't get anybody to take our offer. So good. That makes it easy. That'll make I can come right into the city. In fact, I'm going to try and come around the north way so I miss traffic going into Fishers. There's got to be a back way that I'll figure out on the way in to get up.
Oh, it's all screwed up, Jim.
Oh,
it's all screwed. Just leave early.
Okay.
Just leave early.
I am picking up one of our listeners not picking up, but he's going to wait for me in Iowa City or Duluth or one of those, and we're going to meet up for lunch, and then we'll convoy, a loosely convoy like we did last year, to your place. So, be cool.
Yeah, that will be fun.
Be fun.
So I don't want to bore everybody to tears. We're right kind of at an hour, so it's a perfect time to cut this thing loose. But I look forward. The reason I need every spare minute. I mean, I'm gonna cut this off, and then I'm back to work. I've got tons of stuff to do tonight before I can go to bed. And then, but I like for those folks that are making the journey, and these are guys that have booked airlines, booked hotel rooms, and they've made considerable efforts to be an active part of this community. And there's guys like Chris, he's driving 6-7 hours. Jim, you're driving 11 hours. People that have made, paid a lot of money and are taking a lot of time. And I like for them, And I like for you guys to have something to listen to that's just for you. And I know that it's a very small amount of the listening stats for Home Server Show and Surface Geeks, but as you know, Jim, and as everybody that attends the meetup, I try to go all out for these guys because they're giving back to us by coming, because it's not cheap to get a flight to drive all that way.
Indianapolis is really expensive for me to get to. For whatever reason, it's a hard city to get from Omaha to Indy.
It's hard to get out of this damn place too. As you know, we're trying to get to Seattle in November.
I know. Yeah, no, I know.
It's crazy. So
cheaper for me to fly to Seattle than Indianapolis. That's stupid.
Yeah, that's stupid. That's a lot of stupid juice right there. So I try to give back as much as possible. So because this is something that's so much fun for me to do, and so much fun for us to put on and kind of give back to this community that participates in the meetups and whatnot. So, all right, that's it. It's like I said it was going to be a podcast party.
I made it.
Woohoo! Just made it, Jim.
We're almost here.
I'll get in the credits, right? I'm here enough time for the credits.
Actually, there's no show notes. I'm just going to be like,
you'll be on IMDb for this. Yeah.
Say that again, John.
You'll be listed on the IMDb website.
Oh, awesome! Thank you.
Well, hey, if you didn't know, you can get Home Server Show, Surface Geeks, Home Gadget Geeks, and the Agnostic Tech Podcast, all on iTunes and most of the popular apps out there. So go out there and rate all of these shows on iTunes. Right now, the Agnostic Tech Podcast really needs your reviews on iTunes to kind of move it up, and it's a great show. I mean, you really need to listen to it. So I expect everybody that comes out here this weekend download at least 3 of the 5 shows. They're awesome.
Listen to it while you're flying.
Exactly. You'll like it. I mean, I really enjoyed the Apple breakdown. I mean, granted, you get a little bit of it's overboard. You know, everybody's podcast is talking about those stupid phones. But you guys, I thought it was just completely different than anybody else. I thought it was awesome.
Thanks. I think the key is we try to keep the show to 45 minutes. Each segment is 15 minutes. There's 2 guys talking. We take a break in between. We just try to keep things moving.
And I love the fact that, just like with the BYOB podcast, whenever there's like this little niche in my life that I need filled with a good podcast, I'm just like, all right, we got to make one. That's just it. We got to make it. We can't sit around and wait for someone else to do it. We just got to do it ourselves. So, and I think the Geeks Network at geeksnetwork.com has a great array of podcasts. Hopefully, they're all in your podcast player and you're downloading them each and every week. All right, that's been Surface Geeks Home Server Show, the Geeks Network. I'm your host, David McCabe, for John Wiskowski, for Mr. Christopher Kinney, and Mr. Jim Collison. Thanks, guys.
You bet. Thanks for waiting for me.
All right, we'll see you guys at Meetup 2014. Good night.
See you then. Thanks, Dave.
Whew. Time to get to work.
You were serious? You got work to do?
Oh, shit, yes.
Break's over.
Get back to pushing that broom, bitches. Yeah, no, I do.
Anything else you need from me while we're talking? While I got a few minutes with you? Dave?
I need to figure out what we're going to do Friday night for Eats. John, if I'm holding you up, please do not think
I'm
that
still good for right now. I'm waiting for a phone call, so if the phone call comes in, I will bounce.
Okay. Is this the Puerto Rican gal?
No?
No?
She's Cuban, but no. She's not we are still live, Dave.
I'm just putting him on the spot. We're on.
So John has a Latin fetish.
That was awesome.
Watching. Show, yes.
Okay.
She's Cuban. Let's not confuse.
She's Cuban. I'm sorry. Damn it. She listens.
don't get
She's
him in
gonna
trouble.
smack me with some of that Cubanness.
She's going to wonder who the Puerto Rican girl is.
Exactly.
Thanks, Dave.
Who's my John? Who's got John Cena from
It's
Puerto
bad enough I have
Rico.
a Colombian and a Venezuelan as well.
Do not cross that woman.
No.
So I need to figure out what we're doing. Speaking of habaneros, last year we ate at the Red Habanero. So, I mean, Jim, do you think that that's where we go this time?
I think so. Yeah,
Okay.
they accommodated us nicely. They probably deserve our business back. I would think.
They effed up my meal, Jim.
Oh, well, but it was just yours, right?
It was just mine.
And we only came in with like 25 people
Yeah.
all
And
at
like,
once.
"Can you feed us?"
Yeah.
They're like,
Can you
"Oh,
make
yeah."
a big long table that
did.
basically takes up the whole restaurant? Yeah, it was pretty nightmarish. They did really well. That usually makes me really uncomfortable going into a restaurant with lots of people like that because
Mhm.
they never know how to handle them, right? They're always looking at each other and then they look around. Oh, can we do this? And they start freaking out. And you're like, look, I just don't panic. Just don't show me
Don't
panic. Don't show me panic. If you want to go in the back and panic, that's fine. But I don't want to feel like I've put you out because I showed up with 25 paying people. Okay, it makes your night. Stop acting like we're killing you. Anyway,
Yeah.
so that
So
drives me
if
nuts.
that's what
They did
you
pretty
guys want to do,
they did pretty good. We can. Some of it will be key. I want to get in and get the sound system set up, and just get that stuff rolling. And because we do have it the night before, my emphasis would be on setup as opposed to eating out. I mean, I wouldn't even mind going over to Steak and Shake since we missed Steak and Shake last time. That's right.
I could totally do that.
I mean, we totally missed Steak and Shake last time. And
Terrible.
Friday night, Steak and Shake, that would
Yeah.
be. We'd all have massive gut bombs on Saturday morning.
I hope the restrooms are nearby the meetup room.
There is some nice
Those
ones.
cleaned regularly throughout the day.
I don't care.
Yeah, we can see how many we get and where it's going, and because
Yeah.
we've got 35 registered at this point.
Yeah, but I've got a couple of no-shows,
Okay.
but they're not off the list yet. So
So, either way, I can go with whatever.
okay.
I just want to get in. I'd rather, because we do have the room and we've always been setting up like at 1 in the morning and then turning around at 5 o'clock in the morning to get back down.
Not gonna happen.
Well, I'd like to get set up first, eat
Yeah.
second, and then
Yeah.
and then
It's
crash.
not gonna happen. I'm gonna be in that room at the latest 5 p.m.
Okay.
5 p.m.
What time are they opening it to you?
They're not booked the
Oh,
day
okay.
before.
Okay.
So they X'd out the morning, and then I booked the evening. So they wanted to make sure that they were ready for us.
Good.
And they're going to start setting up sometime after noon. The way that I want my tables and stuff. But I'm going to show up, and we set it up. So and it
that
won't
sounds
be
good.
quite as expansive as it was last time. Although you look back through those pictures, 2013 meetup was pretty cool.
Yeah. No, it was
Pretty
good.
cool pictures.
We had a lot of stuff. Smoke and firemen
Ah,
and the like. Yeah. Okay. Well, then I've got badges. I've got I'll have the swag that I've got from the vendors, and then I'll have the sound system included. So I have microphone. I don't have the fancy cordless stuff. Will be corded, but I don't think we need to. I got enough stuff to get around the room.
Mhm.
And
I've got, I don't have it near me. I've got a wireless transmitter, wireless receiver with a lapel mic if we need it.
no, so those always make a lot of noise, and I've just got the handheld ones that you can flip on and off, and I'll take a 2100 with me, and that'll work. So
Yeah, that'll work.
so cool. All right, well, I'll let you get to your planning.
Yeah, I got more stuff to do.
Dave, do you need another cooler?
No, I went and bought one today.
Okay.
So I've got the nice little one on wheels. It's a little bitty. It's not that big. But I went and got some soda pop, some extra water. So everybody should be able to have a couple of sodas each, maybe a water. So there'll be plenty to go around.
Awesome.
Dave's is doing lunch.
Yep.
Famous Dave's good.
Yep.
Awesome.
I've got it all ordered. Tomorrow I'll actually pay for it and delivering early at 11:30.
Nice.
But it doesn't really matter when we start. It's in open time anyway, So.
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna go at 1:00, and then we're gonna roll right into DMZ and Home On, and then boom, we'll be open again. Right back into it. Roll the smoke.
Is Microsoft coming at all?
Yeah, Dwayne is. The other two fellas aren't.
Oh, good. Is Bay's coming out?
I haven't texted that guy in such a long time. I thought he was, and he kept saying he is. Yeah, I'll text him real quick.
I saw some people asking him if he was, but he never responded.
Yeah, I remember. I remember him saying he was working on it. I think that's what I saw in chat the last time he was here. Somebody asked him, it was a couple weeks ago, hey, you coming to the meetup? And he said, I'm working on it. So that's a little jaunt for him.
It is. Well, Seattle to Indy, you know how hard it is.
It's not easy for you to get there anyways. It's kind of a nightmare to get that scheduled.
Yeah.
You are all booked, right?
Yep.
Okay.
The only thing I don't have booked at this point is my flight to Vegas for CES.
Oh, yeah.
I
My pass came back, so I'm all set if that.
I got pass and I got a room at the Luxor.
God, that'd be nice. I need to hit the lottery or something so I can get a couple $200 bucks.
It wasn't that bad.
Yeah. Just a flight. It'll be a $300, $300 bone, and then split in the hotel with you.
Yeah, it costs money. That's for sure.
Yeah, it's always a grand to just do. It's an easy grand to do that. To do that week. So, all right. Well, I got to do some editing myself, so I'll let you get back to it. John, good to see you, man.
It was good seeing you. It's been a while, Jim.
Yeah, it has been a while. Chris, good to see you. I guess I'll see you shortly.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we're kind of roommates, aren't we? Are you across the hall?
I believe so.
Yep, he's in the cars room. You're in the guest studio.
Out of the basement.
I've got one room open for Mr. John Wiskowski. If
Oh, nice.
chooses.
Come on, John. She won't remember. Bake her a cake.
Make her a cake.
Just bake her a cake. Tell her it's on Friday.
That's what I
Oh, okay. Man.
Get her a Walgreens gift card, dude. There you go.
CVS.
CVS.
Here, Graham, right here. Is your mom? Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Or grandma?
My mom.
Your mom, yeah.
I know John. He just doesn't want to leave because he's probably going to have an iPhone shipped in on Friday.
Oh, that's what's
I
happening.
should just hang up now. Come on.
Boom.
Come on.
Boo.
Not with the Google event in 2 weeks.
It happens every year. Like last year, the 5Cs were out at the very same time. So people were waiting to get their phones, and then boom, they left to come to meet up.
I was going to ask you, what's the most popular phone there? Is there a lot of Windows phones, or is there still your average?
Last year, I said, if you have a Windows phone, please raise it in the air, and then
There was a
all these
bunch.
phones went in the air.
There was a bunch of Windows phones, and a bunch bought. That night, I bet, 6 or 7.
In total, we sold 11
Wow.
Windows phones.
A handful of
Talk about peer
520.
pressure.
It was a lot.
Yeah,
It was a lot. And then, some of them got returned.
Yeah.
Rich O'Neill.
we won't say who, Rich. He's like,
Rich
he
O'Neill.
gets it at the restaurant. He goes, "Where's Hangouts? Where's Gmail?"
Oh,
That's it. Phone's going back.
Weren't you listening, Rich? Weren't you listening?
Don't you pay attention?
What's with this YouTube app?
Exactly. Where's my YouTube app? It's like Jim and I were like, damn thing's going back.
That's going back.
What do you mean I can't download podcasts?
That commission. We knew it too.
Oh, I know. As soon as he bought it, I was like, oh, it's over.
I just don't understand this.
It's
don't understand it.
It's over.
What's a tile? It's like, Why did you buy this, Rich? We love you, Rich.
It was good.
I'd like to see you
The
this year.
635 is a great deal, though. It's hard not to pick one of those.
How much is it now?
99.
Oh yeah, that's a good deal.
Yeah, I think the
Big
T-Mobile's
phone for
a little
$100.
bit more, but
I may switch over to T-Mobile. I'll be honest with you, what they're paying you to switch, and
I know.
be time to get off Sprint. And I can.
And you know what? A lot of them are up in their data. I moved my brother to Cricket Wireless, and the low end was only 500 megs. They just upped him for a gigabyte for free. So he's
Yeah.
paying $35 a month, unlimited talk, text, gigabyte of data. For $10 more, he gets 5 gigs of data.
Well, and I think T-Mobile's got like a family plan. It's like $100
Yeah.
for 4 phones or something like that, and that includes the data, which right now Sprint charges me $20 per phone for this extra LG, stuff, and I'm kind of like, and they're willing to pay up to like $650 or something stupid to buy me out of my plan. And my wife broke her phone, so I was kind of like, well, maybe it's time to get you an upgrade and change plans.
Exactly.
We were just looking at different plans too. My wife's screen on her iPhone is shattered right now.
Yeah.
It's got a screensaver over the top of it to keep it from getting cut on it.
So she doesn't have Band-Aids on all her fingers.
Exactly, yeah. But I'm not sure what we're going to do because up here, really, where I travel back and forth from Madison down into Northern Illinois, I need something that either U.S. Cellular or Verizon, the other phones won't work.
Well,
for me.
U.S. Cellular is offering the same deal, $650 per line for you to switch.
Yeah, see, I'm not even on contract anymore with Verizon, so
Oh, so
there's nothing to buy out on me.
well, yeah, yeah. I'm just at that spot where with 5 lines, it's super expensive, and to leave, and then they all change at different times, so I can
Yeah.
never leave Sprint. And it's with T-Mobile, and I'm paying like $320 a month for these 5 lines.
Holy
Yeah, it's
cow.
just stupid.
I think I asked you before, but how's your Sprint service?
Here in this area, it's pretty good. Now.
Yeah, it depends, right, where you are. And then
Yeah.
how would your T-Mobile service be, though?
Well, I was just gonna look at their
Do
maps.
some research. And,
Maybe Tim,
always
you
check
should
those
get the
forums,
635 and buy a month of service.
Yeah, well,
Just
let me look
Drag
at
it
the
around and
map.
see if you can.
You can actually get the unlimited data or 5 gigs of data, but like hardly any voice for like $30 a month. Like it's a prepaid, just to test out the service.
Yeah.
Who uses voice anymore?
Exactly.
Well, believe it or not, everyone that I want to recommend it to, that's one thing that they do. Like my mom talks a lot, my brother talks a lot. I don't know why they're doing it, and then my brother realized that you can call people with like the Facebook app. I'm like, see, and now you can call people with Hangouts. So, well,
I know.
we're talking about this phone, but yeah, I mean, there's definitely some options out there.
then there's Skype.
Well, boy. So, in my area, their voice
Hi,
and 3G
YouTubers.
speed is satisfactory.
Guys on the live feed, we'll see you at Meetup.
Take care.
Comb your hair.
Here you go. You got to say that to meet up for one time.
No.
At the end of what
That
first night.
definitely does not become a Meetup tradition. That is not
Stay hard. Yeah, I'm using that one now. I
great.
finished my last podcast with that.
Good night, guys. And they
Stay
industry-
hard.
What the hell did I miss? Is this a Surface
No.
Geeks deal?
I don't even
Agnostic
wanna know.
Well, no, it's Agnostic